So let's move on to professional stuff.
Yeah.
I had a really good conversation, a catch up with our good friend Dave Wolstenholme at Brand Me Better earlier today.
Very good friend.
Yeah, absolutely. And he was telling me about somebody he just started working with who had said, and I just thought it was really relevant for what we do and hopefully what our listeners are going through as well. He was telling me that this individual had been a recruiter for a long, long time. And had said he'd always been pretty successful, ran a successful business. He had his ways of working that had worked over a very, very long period of time. And all of a sudden he felt thrust into an environment where that needed to change and he needed to adapt and level up. But that he didn't feel equipped because he hadn't had to change. He didn't know what tools he needed, what skill set he needed. He didn't have the support around him, and he really wanted to change that and kind of level up. And that's something that we hear quite a lot, right?
Yeah, I hear that a lot as well. Lots of, I think particularly those that are either working for themselves or they're business owners themselves, and they're not in an environment where there's like a structured career path with structured training and training that's kind of given to them. It's almost like investing in themselves is the last thing that they would do. And it's mad really, isn't it? When they're the most important piece of it all. And it's crazy how many people I speak to that haven't invested in their training or professional development for 10, 15 years, sometimes longer, and then expect to be able to be ahead of the curve and be able to be competitive. It's not fair on yourself, is it, really, to expect to be able to do things that they've just not got any visibility of, especially when you've got no idea what everyone else is doing.
Yeah. I think often that's driven by the culture in a business as well. Because, I mean, yeah, okay, it's one thing when you're a business leader, right? And you're right, you've got an obligation really to invest in yourself. But sometimes that goes for people who aren't necessarily owners, right? They're within the organisation, they're an employee. Okay, they might still be a leader. I think sometimes it's very easy when you get on that hamster wheel and it's going really, really well to just, all you want to do is just go faster and faster and faster on the hamster wheel.
Yeah, it reminds me of what you were saying earlier, Jordan. I really liked your analogy. Sometimes your analogies are really, really good, and sometimes not so good. But I thought the one you used earlier was excellent when you said about the painter, about your painter going in and saying that.
Yeah,
well,
So what I was saying is, I had a painter in with. You've probably heard me say we've got a baby due in a couple of months and the wife's in nesting mode, so we've basically rebuilt the house from scratch. We had a painter in doing all of the whites. I didn't even know this was a thing, the whites. Apparently it's the doors, the door frames, skirting boards, the whites. But we had this painter come in to do the whites in the house, and he was there for about a week and a half. And with like a day or two to go, he said, listen, I'm gonna leave now, I'm not gonna be back for a couple of days. I said, I've got a 7-month pregnant wife. By all, you're not going to be back for a couple of days. You'll kill me. And he said, no, what it is he said, I find that when I'm here consistently all of the time, I think the word he used was I get a bit snowblind. Like, because I'm just seeing all of this white, I stop being able to see where the gaps are and stuff. So actually, if I leave for a couple of days, go and do something different, come back, I'll see the bits that I missed, the bits that I need to touch up. And yeah, it's very similar, right, to when we're on that hamster wheel.
Yeah. It is really beneficial, and sometimes you can't. It's very hard to see it yourself without somebody objective to bounce off, and sometimes it's stuff that people will remember from years ago, and they'll work through the training and go, yeah, this is just stuff I've kind of stopped doing. I've kind of moved away from, but I always used to do it. It used to work really well, and sometimes they're re-adopting stuff they used to do, and sometimes it's there's sections of it that they're just, this is completely new, this is brand new. I didn't even know this was a thing. I didn't even know people did this. So how on earth would they know that if they haven't had the benefit of finding out what everyone else does? And what we teach isn't, I suppose, the method in which we teach it and the order in which we teach it and the way it's done is unique, but the things themselves aren't. That's all come from my experience of working with other people, your experience of working with other people.
Yeah.
So we're just giving everybody the benefit of being able to learn from all of the people that we've learned from, and being able to stand back and see it for themselves.
Yeah, yeah. And I think if you take it away from retained search, right, just generally in terms of personal development, there's no doubt that there is a theme across all of the most successful people in whatever discipline you look at of constant evolution and challenging themselves and getting better. We see that in our membership, right? That often the people that go away and do best with it, that absolutely fly, 6 months later, they're still coming to the coaching sessions.
Yeah, yeah.
Just because they want to continuously evolve. And I said to Dave this morning, but it's the same with professional athletes, right? You look at the world's best tennis player, they don't get to world number one and then stop training.
No. No, that's right. What are they saying? There's a saying, isn't there, on that? Under pressure, you sink to the level of your training. So if you're not training, then pretty screwed, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. And it, I think it leads on to a thought. We've discussed it in the last week, right, Lou, about, I suppose to add some context here, I had another call with somebody a week or two back who said, I'm interested in putting my team through the training. Great, okay, explain a little bit why, tell me what you're thinking. And he said it's not necessarily about revenue. He said there's definitely an opportunity there, there's definitely an untapped revenue stream that we could build on. But what he said was there's no doubt the market has changed and is continuing to change. And I feel that we as an employer have an obligation to make sure our teams are equipped with all of the skills, the tools, the knowledge that they need to be able to bring this solution to their clients. And I suppose that's the other side of the coin, right? What happens if you've got employees in a business that want to do this stuff, that want to learn, that want to continue to grow? What happens if you don't give them that opportunity? I know.
Yeah, well, I've got one at the moment who, for obvious reasons, I won't name, or the firm that he's working for that has approached me. He's bloody good. I mean, absolutely blew me away in just the 45-minute call that I had with him in terms of where he'd started 4.5 years ago. This is the first firm that he's worked for. He's come straight from uni, and where he is now for them, biggest biller, top performer, now trains all of their new hires and still hands-on, billing 400 grand a year. And he now wants to take the step up. He wants to, as you said, level up. He wants to move into retain work. Everything is done as contingent. Had the call with him, 3 weeks ago, absolutely blown away, gave him everything he needs to put the business case. And in the context of what he's billing, the cost of this course is nothing, like absolutely nothing. And he came back this morning to say that he's having real problems getting it through, and it doesn't look like they're going to fund it for him. Now, I've seen this before, and I know where it ends. Yeah. He'll leave. He'll definitely leave. And I'm devastated because they've done so well with him so far. Yeah. He's worked so hard. He's produced so much for them. It's nothing compared to what he's capable of. Yeah. And, just that short-sightedness of, oh, no, we've got a general freeze on investment or general freeze on training at the moment or external training is going to mean they're going to lose their biggest asset.
Yeah.
It's just really, really sad. And how he'll feel because of that as well, and how he's already feeling because of it.
Yeah. We see it a lot.
Yeah, we do.